Hey, everybody. We are excited to share with you today about the Gulfstream Way. And over the next 25, 30 minutes, I'm here with Ralph Graves Jr. and Milton Corsi. How are you guys doing today?
Hey man, I'm doing wonderful. Good to see you.
Yeah, doing great, Seth. Doing great.
Good. Wonderful. Well, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Seth Silvers, and I kind of help in the back end of the Gulfstream Way. So I'm kind of helping on the management side of things. And the goal of this video is for you to understand who Ralph and Milton are, what the value of the Gulfstream Way is, and really at the end of the day, understand the transformation that this program will bring you as an individual. So, to start this, I'd love just to get some background. I know you guys well, but some of our listeners and viewers do not. So, Milton, can you kind of give us some background just on some of your experience and really what led you to this place where you're wanting to pour into a program like the Gulfstream Way?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity, Seth. Ralph, my friend, it's always a pleasure to work with you. But a little bit about me. I've spent my whole life in education, right? I mean, when my first job out of college was at a college here in New Jersey where I live and have worked my entire life, and I became a professor. Part of the reason I became a professor was the idea that, you know, I know how a good education can transform my life, right? Seen it happen in my own family, happened to me. It's something that I was always passionate about. And so I went into education, taught in the business school, taught math, all those kind of good things. And then through my research, what I started to find is that, you know, success leaves clues. And, when you look at, entrepreneurs, the middle market, there's some of these people who are fundamentally, the heart and soul of our economy, of our nation, right? A lot of times you have people who are really great at a thing, but they're not necessarily great at the business of a thing. So I started working and putting together programming and figure out how can I help people like that, gain the skills and the behaviors so that they can actually fulfill their lifelong dreams to become, leaders in their community. So that's kind of what brought me to this moment.
I love that. And Ralph, give us some of your background, and then also share. I mean, how did you two come together? Why are you both here, kind of launching the Gulfstream Way together?
Okay. All right. Well, um, born and raised in New Jersey as well. I became a police officer early. I was around 21 or 22, just trying to figure life out. And so I became a police officer and I spent 20 years out on the street. I became a sergeant out on the street. And I just got a chance to really look at life from from the front lines, if you will. Always interested in leadership, from coaching football to leading people in the service and things like that. And I began to really understand there were some things that successful people that separated success from those who were just couldn't get a hold of it, or just this living in this level of mediocrity. And it had nothing to do really with race, had nothing to do with, sure, educational level was great, but more so for me it was the principles that they may have applied. I know millionaires who have an eighth grade education. Now we're told that's not supposed to happen. But when I sit down and talk to them, they say, let me show you how it happened. And there were certain laws and principles that led to their success that they applied, that are available to all people. And so as I began to really study leadership and really began to practice some of these principles myself, um, the doors of opportunity swung open. Um, People call it the universe. I'm a born again Christian. I believe in the God who created the universe, but I also believe in universal laws. And they began to open their doors for me and allowed me to walk through, just because I began applying certain principles and living a certain way that we all should live. And so that's kind of how I really began developing the Gulfstream Way, and has
Yeah.
really attributed to a lot of my success today. Now, how Milton and I met, I've been knowing Milton Corsi before he knew me. Now that sounds strange to say. We come from a small South Jersey town where football is king. Football is king. And if you were born and raised in Deptford, New Jersey, you are a male, you are expected, am I right, Milton, to play football?
Pretty much, yeah,
You're
absolutely.
expected to play football. So, Milton, a few years older than I did, he was part of our high school team that you guys were undefeated, right?
Yeah, undefeated state champion, number
State
one team.
champions, undefeated. And so I'm playing Pee Wee, Pop Warner, or midget football, as we called it. And these guys came through, and he was like a superstar. He was the starting running back. I mean, it was like Milton Corsi. And so, we just kind of followed his career, and again, the town not being that big, so he used to see me running around. But we reconnected when I think I had just got out of the service, and I was right before I became a police officer. I worked at the college where he was a professor. And that's really how we reconnected. And then from there, we just kind of stayed connected. And then when we're putting this together, I said, Milton, man, we've got something that can really impact the lives of people globally.
And I love that because Ralph, you've kind of had more of the experience on like these personal development laws, these principles that develop you as a person. And Milton, you've worked kind of more on the organizational side of things,
Right.
and seeing people work through organizations, people develop leadership skills, that whether it means, they're getting promoted in their organizations, they're leading organizations, or they're just being more effective in their role. And the Gulfstream Way brings this together. We've kind of talked about how it's this concept of you grow as a person. So you grow as yourself, then you grow as a leader, and then you can make an impact, and kind of that progression. I'd love to hear you guys talk a little bit about that progression of why is it important that we first grow as a person and then start developing those leadership skills. Milton, I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on that.
Sure, absolutely. And I'm excited that you really focus in on that growth, because one of the things I like to share with people all the time is you'll never become successful beyond who you are, right? Like, you have to become. And to me, that's what this program is about. It's about helping you become. Like Ralph pointed out to you and talked about, how we met many, many years ago. I was a football player. A lot of people looked up to me, knew me, thought highly of me. But one of the things that I like to share with people is like, that's in the past, right?
Yeah.
That's not who I am anymore.
Right.
And I don't think about that anymore. I always try to look ahead and see, who is Milton going to be, or who do I want to be a year, 3 years, 5 years from now? And I start to work on that, because when you begin to focus there, that informs your present. That will change the trajectory and the direction of your life. So this idea of becoming, I think, is central to the Gulfstream Way. If you were to ask me what's the big takeaway, it's that you're going to transform.
Yeah.
You're going to be a person who's built the capacity to do great things. That's kind of what this thing is all about, kind of what really has, awoken my passion to work with Ralph in this endeavor.
Yeah. Ralph, can you add anything to that?
Sure. I mean, I can't lead my organization. I can't even lead my family. Like, before I even get to my organization, I can't even lead my family until I fully mature, until I grow into the person I'm supposed to be. No one is on this planet by happenstance. I say it all the time. You're more than just your mom and dad getting together.
Right.
You have a purpose. You have a chance to make impact. So before I lead my family, before I lead my organization, before I lead teams of men and women, guess what? I have to fully mature. I have to fully grow. I have to fully become. And this is constant. There's a story that goes something like this, and I'll be real fast. I know we gotta get to the next thing. Sand at the beach is free. Right? You and I go to the beach and we can get sand, and sand is absolutely free. You take that same sand, you put it in a bag and take it to a playground. That sand has now become $25 per bag. Take that same sand, take it out of the bag, put it on a sheet of paper. It now becomes sandpaper, and the value increases even more. You take that same sand, which if once it melted down and things like that, I think sand is carbon dioxide, not carbon dioxide, but you melt it down, and it becomes something that you put in our computers, in our computer process.
Yeah, silicone
Silicone dioxide.
Yep.
Yeah, and so it becomes that. So what we have is the same sand, the same exact sand that was free at the beach.
Hmm.
Because of growth, because of impact, because it has now reached its full capacity. And now it's become something extremely far more valuable than just laying around on the beach. So, hey, that's what investing in ourselves and this Gulfstream way and things that allows us to become so much more than what we were just 10, 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's such a great story and such a great example. I'd love to talk about who this is for. Who is the ideal person who's going to experience the most transformation from being a part of the Gulfstream Way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great question. In my mind, my vision is a person who is dedicated or who is ambitious enough to want to ping the universe, right? That's what you want to do. And what we'll give you is a framework of growth so that you can actually do that thing. I want to share a really quick story. Last 10 years of my life, like I said, I was an educator, left education 10 years ago. I'm now what they refer to as a professor emeritus. Sounds really fancy, but all that means is that I can go to commencement and get a free meal anytime I want, right? That's really it. It sounds like a really big thing. That's basically I can show up and they'll feed me. So, but I I transitioned from that into consulting world, right? And over this last 10 years, I've had the opportunity to work with senior leaders in some of the fastest growing companies in the country. If I would share their names, and I won't because it's inappropriate. If I share that, these companies,
Yeah.
and what I found is when I'm in the room with their CEOs and their CFOs and these titans of industry, Seth, guess what? They're no different than you, Ralph, or myself. They're people,
Hmm.
right? But those people made a decision. Sorry about that. People made a decision, okay, that they were going to create something.
Yeah.
Right.
And they had a process that they used to get it there. And they
Hmm.
came from, just like you and I, humble beginnings to become these captains of industry or these huge social change agents or whatever it is that they wanted to accomplish. But they believed in themselves, they had a model, they implemented it step by step by step, and they achieved their goals. So, those people that you look up to, the ones you see on TV, that you read about in magazines, just like you and I,
Yep.
we just made a commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad always told me, he said, those people you see on TV, they put their pants on the same way you do every morning.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Your dad told you the truth. Funny story. Some of those guys, I've been in I've been in those boardrooms, and sometimes I scratch in my head like, this guy,
Mm.
you got to be freaking kidding me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ralph, who do you think, like, who's the ideal kind of candidate person to join the Gulfstream Way? That's really going to get the most out of it. We don't want people
Yeah.
joining and applying for this program that are just going to kind of like, fizzle through it. And it's just going to be another thing they do. Like, who is this ideal for that's going to experience the most transformation?
You know, a person like me, and I say that because I say this, um, made some mistakes or thought that you made mistakes. You think you did some things that disqualified you from being all that you're supposed to be. I was a single father. Fortunately, I married the mother of my child, but was single father. Thinking that okay, life is I missed it. I missed the calling. I wasted some time here, some years here, but there's so much more for you. That there's some impact that you're supposed to make. You know that you're hungry for it, and you begin to realize that this only occurs as I grow. As I grow, opportunities come our way as we begin to grow. And so if you care anything about personal growth, you care anything about making an impact where you are, whether it's home, whether you might be working in a company with some aspirations of starting your own, or you may decide I'm going to retire from here, but retirement, that's not the end of it for you. That's just the beginning of certain things. And so it's for folks who are just hungry. They know that there's so much more of what and who they can become because they have so much more to give. They have so much
Mhm.
more to give. It's I guess the pain point is, man, I messed up and it's too late for me. Well,
Yeah.
here at Gulfstream Way, it's not too late for you.
Yeah. And I think there's so many people out there that have big dreams. They have the aspirations, but they realize there's a gap. Like
Yeah,
here's what I know that I'm capable of. Here's where my potential is. But
Right.
reality is like I'm living here.
yeah,
I feel whether it's stuck in my pain or stuck in my circumstances,
right.
they're driven. And Ralph, your podcast is called Unstoppable. These
Yeah.
people are unstoppable. Like they are not going to quit until they reach their dreams. Like they've probably been told by other people like, oh, that sounds a little crazy, or like, oh, good luck with that kind of thing. And they know, but they don't have the path.
Yeah.
They recognize that there's something that they got to learn. There's some skills, there's some practices.
Yeah.
So this program really is designed to help over a 9-week period, or over 90 days, to help teach you some of the personal development skills and practices that will transform you as a person, and then make you more capable of leading other people, because you sure can't reach your dreams alone.
Right.
And so from what I've learned from you guys, it's like, man, there's a lot of people out there where it's this gap. It's
Yeah.
okay. I know that there's so much more in my life. I just
Yeah.
need some support. I need a guide to help me get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And there's one other thing that I wanted to add, because I was listening as Ralph was talking, and I couldn't agree more with what he said. But the one last thing I'd like to add in who this program is for, okay? It's for people who are willing to put in the work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you can't be a window shopper, you
Can't
think
be-
you're going to show up, you're going to listen to Ralph, you're going to listen to Milton, and all of a sudden this is going to happen. It's not, okay?
Yep.
You have to be willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and that's another thing that if we look at people who are wildly successful, that's another trait that they all share.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that they will do what's necessary.
Yep.
So I love the idea that, hey, I've made mistakes. There's things I need to learn, things that I want to get better at. I want these things, but realize that you're going to have to put in the work
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
single day to make it happen. They stay, I'm sure you've heard the old adage that so many people miss opportunity because, it wears overalls and it looks like work.
Yeah. Where's work clothes? Yeah.
I love
It
that.
wears work clothes.
I love
Right?
that.
So
Yeah.
I just want to share that because I think that's so vitally important, right? If you are not willing to put in the work, sorry, nice to meet you. Take care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd much rather have somebody who is committed to the effort. Maybe
Yeah.
has a little less skill, a little less ability, maybe a little rough around the edges, but they're committed to the effort. I think that's vitally
Yeah.
important.
This is not about skill whatsoever.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's good to highlight, Milton, is this is not a free program.
Right. No.
And the reason is because in my experience, you guys got a couple more years under your belt than I do, but I have yet to see something that's been free that has really, really brought in transformation. The only exception is, I would say, like the internet, and I've learned so many things. Like I've learned a lot of my skills, but I've had to put in the work.
Right.
And so I think that the reality is there's always an investment. Usually it's time or money or different things, but we invest in things to help speed up the process. We invest in things so that I can learn these skills from you, as opposed to having to learn them on my own over the next 40 years of my life.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's an investment, because when we invest in things, we're going to get more out of it. We're going to get out of something what we put into it.
And I think that what we have to realize is it's less of an investment in the Gulfstream Way and an investment in myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's an investment in yourself. I have never worked anything that I didn't put skin in the game on. If once I invest in it, it's okay, I invested in this, I'm going to work, I'm going to work on myself. And
Right.
then I find that these principles are working, and it's because I took the time to make that investment in myself. And so you have to listen. One of my mentors said this: write the check on yourself. If you can't write the check on yourself, if you can't believe in yourself, nobody else going to believe in you. Nobody else going to write the check on you either. So bet on yourself.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about practicals here. So this is a 90-day program.
Mhm.
So people, if you're interested in applying, go to ralphgravesjr.com/apply, answer a few questions. Our team will get in touch with you. So that's kind of the first step in the process. If you want to learn more information about this, go to ralphgravesjr.com/apply. It's a 90-day program. And so the goal is really over 90 days, you're going to learn these lessons from Ralph and Milton that will help you to live, the rest of your days more intentional, with more intention, with more precision. Why I'd love to hear from you guys. Like, why do you think it's important to have this kind of be in a more concentrated time period, as opposed to saying like, yeah, just join and you'll learn over the next, 2 years? Like, why are we kind of boiling this down to kind of an initial 90-day period?
I'll start. Focus, laser focus. I think if we put a goal, if we put it out put an end date on something, we're more probably more determined and more focused on getting it done rather than being laissez-faire. And I need this change to occur in the first quarter, the second quarter. These are 90 days. These are benchmarks. These are goals. So that's why that's the reason why I really was determined to make it a 90-day program rather than, hey, you got 4 years to complete. No, we want some stick to itness. We want to get at it. Let's get after it for 90 days.
Yeah. In your experience, Milton, working with organizational leaders and different things, like, I mean, you've probably seen organizations that are working in sprints and time periods. Speak to the effectiveness of kind of shrinking down some time periods when we're learning skills.
Well, absolutely. Like, there's an axiom in the consulting world, right? That gets measured can be changed, right?
Yeah.
And deadlines, like Ralph said, it makes the thing real. If I can just push this off and say, yeah, I'll get to it, I don't really have the impetus to change my behaviors, my ways, and grow. So when we say in these 90 days, we're going to give you, now, by the way, it should be clear, you're not going to be a finished product in 90 days.
No.
Okay.
Right.
But what we will give you is the framework that you can use over and over and over again to create success in your life, right? No matter in what role that is. So we're going to open up the fire hose. We're going to teach you all of these principles, all of these practices, kind of what you need to do. We're also, which is the other thing that I think is super cool about this, is you're not in this alone. There's a cohort of people, right?
Yeah.
And these people are going to be there to support you, to motivate you when you're not so sure you can do it yourself, to kick you in the butt if need be. And that family continues with you after the formal class is done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what I found through this consulting world is like time matters. That's the one thing I cannot get back. So we need to move as quickly as we can to achieve our goals. That's what happens when I go in and I'm working with, corporate leadership. That's what they want to know. How quickly can we get this thing done?
Right.
How quickly can we move this thing forward? Because we have other things that we need to get it done as well. So
can I add about that cohort? Here's one of the things, and that a lot of folks who really want to jump into Gulfstream Way, you have a like-mindedness. A lot of times we talk about, man, I don't have a circle. I don't have a support system of my like-mindedness. Well, when you have this cohort, you're going to have 15, 20 like-minded people, like Milton said, that you will have lifelong relationship with. Milton and I have traveled all over the East Coast together because we have a like-mindedness and we've come in contact with, and it's so much, I don't want to say easier, but it's a comfort to know that you do have a circle of like-minded people supporting your business. You might be in two completely different worlds, two different businesses, but they're supporting your business. You're bouncing things off of one another, because sometimes close family and friends at this stage, it's hard to do because you will be misunderstood. But with this cohort, you're going to have like-minded people that will understand you. I just believe that's still such an important piece to the Gulfstream Way.
Yeah, and that's a huge value add, is that we're going to be doing this in cohorts. We're going to be launching a new cohort every quarter. We're taking applications at any time, so we're filling those cohorts all throughout the year. But we're launching this in cohorts so that you can go through the Gulfstream Way with a community of like-minded people.
Yeah.
After that 90 days, we don't just kick you out.
No.
After that 90 days, you're the first, you're still a part of that community, and you become a part of the larger Gulfstream Way community of people of
Yeah.
other cohorts as well.
Yeah.
And, the first people, as Milton and Ralph come out with new books and new resources, and I know that's happening because I'm helping them do it.
Yeah.
As those things happen over the next couple years, the first people that are going to get the first look at all those resources and books are, the cohorts, the people
Yeah.
in the Gulfstream Way. And so it really is, for a 90-day period, you're moving with this cohort, learning all of these skills that unfortunately they ain't teaching you in college. Milton, you talked about the importance of education. This is education. This is education on how do you be a more effective person? How do you be have a stronger foundation, and how do you lead others? And so over 90 days, we're going to teach you these skills through weekly live trainings, through interactions throughout the week, through that community in the cohort, and also through one-on-one coaching. That's a piece of this too, is all the members of this cohort, there is going to be access to one-on-one coaching. And I want to mention that. Kind of as we bring this to a close, would just love to hear, from you, Ralph, first. Just anything else that you want to add and really encourage people that are thinking like, what, I might want to apply, but I'm just not really sure. What would your kind of words of encouragement be to those people?
I read something today from a friend of mine. Do it scared. Do it scared. Get out there and do it. Come on, be a part of it. Don't hesitate. Don't think that you don't have what it takes. You do have what it takes. Just do it scared. Come on, come be a part of it. Come grow. Let's grow together. Let's be unstoppable together. I think, Seth, you hit the nail on the head. This is not just 90 days and we drop you off at the curb. No, this is some lifelong relationships of like-minded people are moving in the right direction. So I would encourage you, if you feel stuck, to come on. We're here for you. Let Gulfstream Way transform your life.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely, Ralph. That's fantastic. I'm going to add a couple of things to that. The first thing is I want to expand something that Ralph just said about courage. Oftentimes people misconstrue what that's about. Right? Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in the face of fear.
That's right.
So I'm not expecting you to not be worried, not be afraid. Everybody's afraid.
Yeah.
Okay. Take an action. Do it. Right. That's what it's about. And to coin a phrase of one of my favorite philosophers of all times, Marshawn Lynch.
I was gonna say, I was like, this is gonna be a football player.
Exactly, Marshawn Lynch. If you remember a few years back when the Seahawks were in the Super Bowl, and Marshawn was, he never wanted to speak to the media, and finally, Deion Sanders got him, cornered him, and he asked him. He said, why don't you want to talk? Why don't you want to share it? He said, I'm about that action, boss. Right? The talk doesn't mean anything. It's about what you do. So what I would admonish our listeners or anybody who's thinking about this, take action. Be about that action, boss.
That's right.
Okay. This will change your life.
Yeah. I love that. Well, if you are in the slightest bit interested, please apply. Head over to ralphgravesjr.com/apply. We ask you a few simple questions just so our team can better know how to serve you in this process. And then we'll jump on a call and see if you're a good fit for the program and see if this is the right time for you to join. But if you're on the fence and really, if you have transformation that you're wanting in your life, but you feel like you don't have the guide and you don't have the path to get there, the Gulfstream Way can help you. The concept behind the name, the Gulfstream Way. Ralph, real quick before we go, share with us why this concept of the Gulfstream Way is so important with us.
Well, for the Gulf Stream, if anybody knows anything about the Gulf Stream determines weather patterns. It determines what we experience. And so the Gulf Stream Way kind of shifts our experience. And so this will definitely determine how your life's going and things that will happen in your life. This will make a shift in your life, just like the Gulf Stream makes a shift in the weather patterns. This Gulfstream Way will make a shift in your life.
Absolutely. Well, Ralph, Milton, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, we all three of us are looking forward to meeting those of you that are interested in seeing you inside the Gulfstream Way. So thank you guys. Have an awesome day.
You too.
Thanks.
Take care, man.